Hi everyone. Today we're going to actually try to use the contextualization tool for Unit 4, Day 1, 10th grade. You may have found this on Passport or the DOE's Learning and Teaching YouTube channel. I just wanted to explain how this is broken down because it's actually a series of 4 videos. 2 of them are more general and 2 are more specific. The first video, which you may have seen already, is on the actual contextualization tool, specifically why we have contextualization. Look at the description. The next video is the breakdown for the tool, how you can actually pull it apart in color code. Third video is we're going to specifically break it down, focusing on Unit 4, Day 1 for 10th grade. The first 2 videos are basically for any grade, although the third video can help anyone in any grade if they want to understand how to organize for themselves. And the fourth video models how to use a contextualization tool, and that really focuses on 10th grade, Unit 4, Day 1. So again, depending on what you want to see and what you want to do, this little chart will help you on what to watch and when to watch it. Now we're going to actually look at how to actually try this in action, but break it down that it's more doable. Okay? Your teacher may have given you a video to what I call set the scene or model the beginning of contextualization. How they're going to do that with this video on decolonization. In fact, if you watch this video, you don't have to watch the whole thing, specifically watch from 1 minute and 22 seconds to 3 minutes and 9 seconds. If you have access to this presentation, you can watch it and you can try to break down the actual contextual information, like the title, relevant dates, location, and a brief description. Try that. You can go back and watch it. Take a look, see what you find. Pretend you're a detective. Okay, go do that. Watch the video. Try to figure out what information you know. Okay? Does your chart look like this? The actual lesson already has this model that says the title is Decolonization, meaning when colonies started to fall apart. The relevant dates, it says 19th century, meaning the late 1800s. Notice there's a thought bubble here. What other factors led to decolonization? Meaning, was there something else going on? Location, India, Africa, the Middle East, Latin America. Then there's this brief description. This video explains the conditions in Europe after World War II, leading up to decolonization. Because after World War II, that's when colonies the colonial powers lost control. Because after World War II, Hitler was defeated and his expansionist goals, he wanted to take over the world. That didn't work out, thank God. Now, many colonies who fought in the war, meaning they fought for the European power who got them to fight, wanted their independence because of this. In addition, after the war, many imperialist powers or imperialist powers, depending on how you say it, suffered great loss as they needed to focus and rebuild their own country. They couldn't hold on to their colonies. So if you watch the video, that's what you could or should have taken away from it. Now, that kind of sets it up, and that would be the beginning of your contextualization. But what other sources? We're going to actually use contextualization for a source. This is our background. Now, how are we going to use a source to build our backstory on an essay? You're going to use this chart to put together the backstory that we were referring to. You're going to use the information from this chart to write 2 to 3 sentences of basic contextual information. And again, you're going to use the information from this chart that was modeled for you. Now, the next step, this is what should be going through your head about colonization that went on before World War II and because of World War II. Countries that were colonized wanted to break away. You're going to think about how you're going to analyze additional information about the factors that led to decolonization and independent work. By the way, before I go further, never ever write, I will analyze, I will do this, I will provide you for information. Okay, your grader knows it's you writing. Your grader knows it's you explaining things. Who else is it? The little green man on her shoulder? They're not allowed to take your test for you. You do your writing, right? So if you want to know how to phrase it, by the way, you're talking about, you're going to say, there were other factors that led to decolonization. Well, not direct independent work, obviously, let's cross that out too. Other factors led to decolonization included, and you're going to actually look into the sources to find examples for that, okay? Now, as you're going to read, you're going to think about when you go to each source. Remember, we looked through this, the intellectual, social, economic, political, geographic. You can look immediate and distant. So we have a whole organizer. And if I were to try to look at this source, with that organizer, I'd get mixed up. So the smart people from Passport already realize that. And they think that when you contextualize, you should use the political forces, which they've made purple, just like I did. Remember this? Political forces and geographic forces, purple and pink. See? So they're only looking at specifically this part of the organizer. Now, how are we going to do this? We're going to look at political and geographic. Political meaning people in charge. Geographic meaning the relationship of people to features in there. So they say that afterwards you should do immediate view and distant view. I got something else. It's going to make our lives a little easier. At least I would need to break it down. You're going to know that purple is political, purple political, and geographic is now pink. Immediate, because it's like as if you're doing kind of, like Sharpie work, tagging it up. Well, don't tag anything up. That's a different discussion. And then the distant view, that's the typewriter, the longer. So this kind of where I'm going to take a stop for part 3 and use the contextualization tool. I mean, the truth is part 1 and part 2 are really very general about contextualization. This is where we started to take a deeper dive into Unit 4, Day 1, on how to actually use the tool and break it down for actual sources. In our next video, which is really the second for decolonization, although it is the 4th on contextualization, we're going to actually show you how to break down the sources, pull it around, do what you need to do for Unit 4, Day 1. It seems like a lot, but remember, the first 2 are on contextualization itself. Specifically, the second one is introducing the tool. This video explained how we're going to start working with the tool, and the next video, we're really going to take a deep dive. So I hope you come along for that. It's quite a bit, but if you're still watching now, I think you're interested and you want to learn something. Go for it.